I think the media coverage of the Arushi case represented what I call is the new narrative of modern day media, particularly the visual media, which is sensationalism replacing sense. So every attempt was made how do I sensationalize the story? That was the dominant narrative across the media. Of course, the story itself, the fact that a young girl had allegedly been killed by her parents, obviously made this the kind of story that would hook any viewer at any time. But how do you sustain the narrative? And that's when I believe that speculation, innuendo replaced hard fact and evidence. Let me also make it very clear that it's very easy to target the media or the so called messenger. What about the role of the police? To my mind, the biggest question mark in the entire Arushi case should be raised over the police's behavior. How do you explain the fact that Gurdarshan Singh, a senior UP officer, holds a press conference effectively suggesting that the parents killed Arushi? He set the terms of the entire story. Once he had done what he had done, then to expect the media to move away from that narrative became very difficult. Because as I said, the thought of parents killing their own child in today's India and in a middle class family was something that obviously shocked people and had them at the edge of their seats. I mean, this happens in Khap Panchayats. This is not supposed to happen in middle class Delhi. I think, therefore, the Arushi case struck a chord. And sadly, the way the narrative played out, both in terms of the investigative agencies and the media, which was playing self-styled investigators, meant that the lurid details, who were the Talwars partying with, what were their personal relationships, who were Arushi's personal relationships with, all of that got far more importance than they should have in the context of finding who killed Arushi. And I think that's the problem with this case, that somewhere we lost sight of the fact that this was ultimately a murder which needed to be investigated just like any other murder story, with a ruthless focus on evidence, not on allowing a certain voyeurism to replace journalism. I think the Arushi case, the lesson is that journalism cannot become voyeurism. Journalism must stick to the facts of the story and must stay honest to the facts of the story. And sad to say that so many years later, we frankly still don't have a real answer to that big question. Who killed Arushi?
In one word, Rajdeep, how would you describe the case?
Sensational.
Do you remember what you were doing when the story broke?
Sitting in office, waiting for the next big breaking news.
What was going through your head? What did you personally feel while the case was going on?
I must confess that my first reaction was, how could the parents do it?
Do you know of any other such cases where justice and the trial and the investigation have got muddied?
I don't recollect any case right away, but we've just seen the Malegaon blast case, where 8 years later, the police are telling us that those who have been charged under Makoka and have been in jail for 8 years, there's no evidence against them. So for 8 years, you claim that that this particular group and individuals were responsible. Now you say maybe someone else did it. So it happens all the time. It's not the first time that you've had two conflicting versions also of the CBI. That happens all the time. Normally it happens with political cases. In political cases, same agency, same investigators, different governments, different outcomes. I don't know why it had to happen in the Arushi case. That's one of the major mysteries. How could in a case like this, two senior CBI investigative teams come up with two completely different versions?
If, God forbid, you were to be interrogated by the CBI at some time, would you be feeling safe and secure, or would you be disturbed?
I am terrified of the police in this country, frankly. I just do not have faith that they will do an honest investigation, particularly in matters that become high profile and are under the media gaze.
Thank you. You can hear the full episode of Trial by Error, The Aroshi Files on array.co.in and Savan, Sundays 9 p.m.